Now, starting with special and differential treatment. Starting with special and differential treatment. So this special and differential treatment, SMD treatment, this is available for the developing countries. This is available for the developing countries, right? So some kind of relaxation or leniency is available in terms of time, which is given to the developing countries for fulfillment of some WTO agreement, right? So if some WTO agreement comes, then the developing countries are given more time to implement that particular agreement. So this is the relaxation given under the special and differential treatment to the developing country. Second, the provisions to increase trading opportunities through greater market access. So they are also given greater market access by different countries, and the provisions such as anti-dumping, safeguards, technical barriers to trade, etc., right? So these type of special provisions are also available to these developing countries. Now under the S&D provisions only, there is one system which is called generalized system of preferences, GSP, generalized system of preferences. So this is under the S&D provisions or S&D principle, and this is available to the least developed countries. This is available to the least developed countries. Now what is the meaning of least developed countries? So in the chapter of international organization, in the starting 5-6 pages, I have given the meaning of different organizations, meaning of different categories given by different organizations, right? So what is the meaning of least developed country? What is the meaning of low income, middle income, high income? You can see there. This thing will not be asked in the examination, but for your clarity, for your understanding, I have given the meaning of all these words over there, right? So there is a proper formula, there is a proper identification mechanism through which we can identify which country is the least developing country. So this is available to the least developed countries who are the WTO members. So उनके लिए क्या available है? So this is providing a preferential trade tariff system. This is providing preferential tariff system which provides scope for tariff reduction by other WTO members, right? So other WTO member can reduce the tariff for LDCs. So जो LDC होते हैं उनके लिए कम टैरिफ लगाया जा सकता है by the other WTO members, right? So we have already seen here in the special and differential treatment that they can be given opportunity for greater market access. तो जो other country WTO members हैं वो कम import duty लगाएंगे so that these LDC can increase their market. Apart from that, there are two more things. Basically, as of now, these two systems are being implemented. One is special products, another is special safeguard mechanism, and these were introduced in the Doha round. In the Doha round, right? These were introduced in the Doha round. The first one is special product, and second one is special safeguard mechanism, SP and SSM. So this special product, under this, the agricultural commodities of special importance to the farming communities in the developing countries, they are given the special preference. So for protecting such commodities, for protecting such agricultural commodities, the countries can impose higher tariff on the special product. So for example, India identifies, India कहती है कि suppose I'm taking a hypothetical example. Suppose India says that potato is a special commodity for our farming community, because from potato, lot of the farmers they get their livelihood, right? So if India imports potato from some other country, then higher import duty will be levied on the potato which is imported from out of India, right? So once this potato is declared as the special product, after that, if it is imported from outside India, India can levy more tariff, more import duty, right? So this is the protection available under the special product. Apart from that, we have special safeguard mechanism, SSM. So this is also available to developing countries, and they can temporarily impose higher than bound tariff rate. मतलब normal से ज़्यादा tariff rate impose कर सकते हैं in case of the particular agricultural product, and this is allowed if there is sudden surge in the import of the product in the developing member country. So if developing country observes that a particular commodity is being imported in the large quantity, then under the special safeguard mechanism, we can increase the tariff rate temporarily, right? So special product and special safeguard mechanism, these two are the component which are part of the generalized system of preferences, and generalized system of preferences is part of the special and differential treatment, right? तो अभी तक हमने तीन प्रिंसिपल डिस्कस किए. The first principle was most favored nation, the second principle was national treatment, and the third principle is special and differential treatment, under which we have discussed GSP, SP and SSM, right? So these are the three technical terms. Apart from that, if we see the overall principles of the WTO, the first principle is non-discriminatory trade. This non-discriminatory trade is the fundamental principle. There will be no discrimination, right? For that we have MFN and national treatment. So MFN and national treatment, they ensure there is non-discriminatory trade, right? Then free trade. So this free trade is possible, lowering of trade barriers is possible through negotiation, right? So the countries will negotiate with each other and try to reduce the tariff so that more and more trade can happen across the border, right? Predictable and transparent. Bound tariff rates and market opening commitment that cannot be changed arbitrarily, right? It means the tariff rate will be fixed and all of the countries will be opening their market to each other, and these things cannot be changed arbitrarily immediately. Fourth, protecting against the unfair trade. Disciplines on the use of unfair trade practices. Disciplines on the use of unfair trade practices. So, example like anti-dumping duty, countervailing duty, special safeguard duty, all of these tools are available for protecting against the unfair trade practices, right? Then promotion of development of all the countries. So the developing and LDCs, they will get the some special treatment. We have already seen special product and SSM. So these are the key principles of the WTO. Now coming to the agreements, क्या क्या agreement WTO के अंदर हैं? What are the agreements which are available under the WTO, right? What are the agreements which are available under the WTO? WTO के अंदर क्या क्या agreements हैं, अब हम उसकी बात करते हैं. So there are various agreement. The first agreement is agreement on agriculture, right? So there are some rules and regulations which have been laid down for the agricultural products. Second, agreement on trade in textile and clothing. This is also called as the multi-fiber arrangement. Third, agreement on trims, trade related investment measures. This is regarding the investment. Right. Then we have TRIPS, trade related intellectual property. So this is for the intellectual property. Right. तो हमने बताया था कि GATT, GATT is not protecting the intellectual property like patent, copyright, trademark, but this WTO has a separate agreement for the intellectual property which is called as TRIPS, right? This has a separate agreement for the trim investment also, which is called TRIMS. Then for services sector also, there is a separate agreement, general agreement on trade in services, right? So these are the different agreement. Out of these agreement, we will discuss about all the agreement except this agreement on trade in textile and clothing, which is not important, right? We will discuss about agriculture, investment, intellectual property, and services. So, coming to the agreement on agriculture, right? So, first one is the agreement on agriculture. In the agreement of agriculture, there are three pillars. There are three different pillars. ये pillars क्या क्या हैं? The first pillar is grant of market access, right? So, all the countries, they will grant the market access to each other. All the countries, they will grant the market access to each other as far as the agriculture sector is concerned. The purpose is to promote and liberalize the agricultural trade. So agricultural commodities should also be traded just like the manufacturing commodities. The purpose is to promote agricultural trade. So under this, first of the pillar is enhancing the market access, and for this enhancing the market access, first of all, we have to focus upon the tariff, है ना? So there should be some reduction commitment. The tariff, the import duty, etc. They should be reduced. We can liberalize the quota, and then there are special safeguards. For example, we already discussed about the special product and special safeguard mechanism, right? So these kind of special safeguards may be made available to the relevant countries, right? So this is the first pillar. The second pillar under the agreement on agriculture is the domestic support, right? तो यहाँ पर articles का नाम लिखे हुए हैं. These are not important. These are articles under the this agreement. तो आपको ये सब याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. आपको ये सब देखने की जरूरत नहीं है, ठीक है? आपके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है कि तीन पिलर्स के नाम क्या है. तो पहला पिलर आपका मार्केट एक्सेस, दूसरा पिलर आपका डोमेस्टिक सपोर्ट. So, what is domestic support? Domestic support talks about how much subsidy can be given by the national government. So, how much subsidy can be given by the government of India to the agricultural community? So, there is a limit which is available on them, right? So, there is a limit which is imposed on these kind of subsidies. So, these kind of subsidy can be green box subsidy, or can be blue box subsidy, can be development subsidy, or they can be amber box subsidy, right? We will discuss each one of these things in detail. Third one, that is export competition, right? So we will promote the export competition. We should promote the export competition. We should make some fair rules regarding the export subsidies, right? And there are some other terms, food aid, export credit also, which are not important. Now, out of these, let us see two important points. One is regarding the market access. तो यहाँ पे हमने देखा market access के बारे में, और the first point and third point, right? तो first point और third point हमने already discuss किए हैं. फिर भी हम language में देख लेते हैं थोड़ा सा. So just take 30 seconds and read this slide. चलिए, तो First is about the market access, right? It is very clear कि the member countries should reduce the import duty, or if there are some non-tariff barrier like quota or sanitary measures, those should be converted into the tariff barrier. Phase out export subsidy. So export subsidy phase out करने के लिए कुछ limits दी हुई है. These limits are not important for you. Now coming to the domestic support, that is how much subsidy can be given by the national government. Suppose government of India, so how much subsidy government of India can give to its agricultural sector. एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर को कितनी सब्सिडी दी जा सकती है, ठीक है. सो दिस डोमेस्टिक सपोर्ट और सब्सिडी, डोमेस्टिक सपोर्ट का मतलब सब्सिडी, हाउ मच सब्सिडी, हाउ मच सपोर्ट कैन बी गिवन बाय द डोमेस्टिक गवर्नमेंट. सो डोमेस्टिक सपोर्ट मींस हाउ मच सपोर्ट और सब्सिडी कैन बी गिवन बाय द domestic government. So there are two kind of domestic supports. One is those under which there is no upper limit, there is no restriction, basically कोई restriction नहीं है. And then there is second support where there is restriction under the AOA, ठीक है. तो दो तरह की आपकी domestic supports हैं, एक जिसके ऊपर कोई लिमिट नहीं है और दूसरा जिसके ऊपर लिमिट है. So first one under which there is no limit, it includes number 1 green box subsidy, number 2 development subsidy, and third blue box subsidy. So green box, development box, and blue box, these are the three categories where there is no limit. Second category, first is amber box, and inside the amber box only there is de minimis, right? There is de minimis. So there are four categories: green box, development box, blue box, and amber box. Out of these four categories, there is upper limit only and only on the amber box, right? Now coming to this, so please read this slide carefully, take 30 seconds and read this carefully. Okay, so let us discuss each one of them. Green box subsidy means which are non-trade distorting subsidy, means these subsidies are not given to distort international trade, right? The government is giving these subsidies to address some genuine concerns of the agriculture sector, right? For example, subsidy for research, subsidy for providing training to the farmers, subsidy for providing marketing information, subsidies for developing weak rural infrastructure, right? So these kind of subsidy, they are called non-distorting subsidy, non-trade distorting subsidy, right? And these are allowed under the AOA, and there is no upper limit. There is no upper limit over the green box subsidies. Very very simple. तो ग्रीन बॉक्स में कोई अपर लिमिट नहीं है, there is no upper limit. So government can provide without any problem in case of research and development and other areas which are genuinely addressing the concerns of the agriculture sector. Second category is blue box subsidy. So blue box subsidy, for example, The government of India gives the subsidy for suppose fertilizer subsidy. The best example is fertilizer subsidy, right? This fertilizer subsidy is given. First of all, this subsidy is linked to production, and this also puts upper limit automatically. तो आपको याद होगा, when I discussed the concept of fertilizer subsidy in the chapter of agriculture, I discussed one thing. I told you that government is actually identifying the farmers through Aadhaar card, right? So nowadays in the fertilizer subsidy, we have implemented DBT scheme. That means that if the farmer comes to buy the fertilizer, the farmer has to show the Aadhaar card, and there is a mechanism through which it will be identified whether the farmer is buying the fertilizer appropriate to the land which is available with the farmer. तो जितनी उसके पास में लैंड है उतना ही सब्सिडी वो ले रहा है. So that puts a upper limit over the subsidy. So inside the government subsidy only, there is some upper limit which is ensured by the government itself, which actually puts some kind of limit on the production itself, which actually controls the production itself, right? So these kind of subsidies are less trade distorting. These are less trade distorting, and there is no limit. Again, there is no limit on the blue box subsidies, right? So first हमने देखा green box subsidy, there is no limit. Second हमने देखा blue box subsidy, there is no limit, right? Now third one, amber box. In case of amber box, these are trade distorting. These are trade distorting, right? And they are encouraging excessive production through subsidies like fertilizer, seeds, irrigation, power, right? So in our case, in case of India, this fertilizer subsidy is not a part of amber box because we are not providing for excessive production. We are actually ensuring that we have sufficient production, right? In other countries, it can be amber box, right? So depending upon country to country, situation to situation, the same subsidy can be categorized as the different category of subsidy, right? So seeds, irrigation, power, depending upon the country again, right? So as per AOA, there is a limit, there is an upper limit. On such subsidies, right? Because they are trade distorting. They are trade distorting, right? They are providing unfair support to the farmer, which will hamper the free trade. So if the country is providing free power, free electricity, free seeds, then input cost of the farmer will come down. When input cost will come down, the farmer can sell the product at low price in the international market. So such sale at the low price, it is unfair, because if some other government is not providing the subsidy, suppose Indian government is providing the subsidy, but the government of Pakistan is not providing the subsidy, then the farmer of India will be at advantageous position as compared to the farmer of Pakistan, right? So this will be unfair. So this kind of subsidy should be controlled, right? So there is an upper limit over such subsidies. For the developed countries, such subsidy should be maximum 5% of the value of agriculture production, and for the developing countries the limit is 10%, right? So developed countries के लिए 5% लिमिट है और डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज के लिए 10% लिमिट है. Another is development subsidy or development box subsidy, right? So this is available for the developing countries only, and it is allowed under specific conditions. For example, investment subsidy, agricultural input subsidy, for the low income or resource poor producers, right? So this is available for basically limited countries. Now this is the question of 2016. Please read this question and give what is the answer. Very simple question.
A.
आंसर इज ए, वेरी सिंपल, कुछ इसमें सोचने वाली बात ही नहीं है ना. सो इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग डू यू समटाइम्स फाइंड आम्बर बॉक्स, ब्लू बॉक्स एंड ग्रीन बॉक्स इन न्यूज. तो ये बहुत सिंपल क्वेश्चन है, आंसर इज ए ओनली, राइट, डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन. ठीक है. नाउ what is the impact of AOA on India? This is important because agreement on agriculture has been in news because of this particular controversy which happened in case of India, right? This particular controversy which happened in case of India, right? So what is this controversy? What is this controversy? Let us see. So basically, I already discussed in the chapter of agriculture that India has been providing a facility of minimum support price to its farmers. ठीक है. So in the minimum support price, the government guarantees some minimum price, right? And at this price, the government can procure the notified 22 crops from the farmers, right? So this minimum price is available for 22 notified crops, and the farmer is assured that if you cannot sell the product in the open market, you can come to the government and government can buy at this price. So this is a kind of subsidy. This is a kind of subsidy because the government is promising minimum price. Even if the market price is less, still government will provide some price to the farmer. So the government is providing a kind of subsidy to the farmer, right? So this subsidy, as per the WTO regulations, in the context of India, this is part of the Amber Box subsidy. This is part of the Amber Box subsidy, and definitely if this is part of the Amber Box subsidy, automatically India is a developing country, therefore there is a 10% limit as a percentage of value of agricultural production, right? There is no problem in this, there is no controversy till now. अभी तक कोई ऐसी controversy नहीं है. There is no controversy till this point. इसमें इंडिया को कोई controversy नहीं है, ठीक है. Now the controversy arises about the calculation of this value of 10%, that how to calculate this 10% value, right? So in the AOA, the reference price for the crop has been given for the year 1996, so 1986 and 88, right? So for example, in 86-88, the price for wheat, suppose we are taking the example of MSP for wheat market price was 500 rupees per quintal, ठीक है. मार्केट प्राइस 500 rupees per quintal है, ठीक है. Now in the year 2021, the MSP of wheat is 2000 per quintal. So it means as per the WTO AOA formula, the subsidy will be 1500 per quintal, right? So as per this formula, as per the reference price of 86.88, Indian government is giving the subsidy of 1500 per quintal. This is the point made by uh, the opposition of India in the WTO. So in the WTO, those countries who are opposing the MSP program of India, they are saying that India is providing the subsidy of 1500 rupees per quintal, right? What is the stand of India? What is the stand of India? India is saying that this price of 500 per quintal is very old. This is a price of more than 20 years old. It means it did not include the impact of inflation which is there over a period of time, right? So as per the recent reference period, this reference period should be changed from 1986-98 to the recent. For example, 2010, right? In 2010, the market price is suppose 1500, right? And we are providing the MSP of 2000. So our subsidy is just 500 rupees per quintal. Our subsidy is not 1500, our subsidy is 500 rupees per quintal, right? So this reference price of 86.88 is very outdated. It does not consider the impact of inflation. It does not consider the impact of inflation. So this is outdated. This is the first point made by the India, right? The second point is that we are utilizing this MSP product for the PDS, right? We already discussed in the chapter of agriculture that this MSP is given to the farmer and FCI procures this. FCI is gives to the state government who distribute under the PDS at the rate of 1 rupees, 2 rupees, 3 rupees for the coarse cereal, wheat and rice respectively. ठीक है? तो अल्टीमेटली हम लोग इसको अपनी फूड सिक्योरिटी के लिए यूज कर रहे हैं. हम लोग our purpose is not to distort the trade. Our purpose is not to distort the export market. Our purpose is to provide the remunerative prices to the farmer, and ultimately we sell this product to the poor people, to those people who cannot afford the food, and the price which is collected from them is very low, right? So these are the 2 points which are made by the India. So India कहता है कि first of all this reference period is wrong. This reference period should be updated to the recent reference period so that this subsidy calculation can be correct. And secondly, that we are giving this MSP not for distorting the trade but for our poor people. This is a genuine program. So this subsidy should not even be considered part of the amber box. So India has raised an objection that even this subsidy should not be made part of the amber box, right? So this is the controversy. Now this controversy kept moving, and those countries which were opposing India, especially the developing countries, so those countries said that we want to enter one agreement, trade facilitation agreement, for free trade, for reducing the custom procedures, for modernizing the customer procedures, for making the trade easier across the border. We want to sign the TFA, trade facilitation agreement. India said that if you do not allow me to give MSP, if you put a upper limit over the MSP, then I will not sign this trade facilitation agreement. और WTO के अंदर there is a rule of consensus. If I do not sign this, then this trade facilitation agreement cannot become reality. This trade facilitation agreement cannot be converted into the formal agreement, right? So at the informal level, the negotiations happened. We already said green room negotiation होते हैं या mini ministerial होते हैं. Ultimately, after the informal negotiations, we agreed that okay, we will sign trade facilitation agreement, but with the condition that this matter of MSP will be kept on hold, right? This matter will not be put against India, right? So we signed a peace clause. This agreement, this informal understanding is called peace clause. So we signed a peace clause, and this peace clause means that the matter will not be pursued against India as far as MSP is concerned, right? And this peace clause is the duration of this peace clause is indefinite, means there is no upper limit to this peace clause, and the countries have agreed that till we sit together and resolve this matter once for all permanently, till that time this peace clause will be applicable for the MSP program of India, right? And no one will dispute the MSP program of India, and this limit of 10% will not be applicable in particular case of MSP program, right? So this is the concept of peace clause. So all these things happened under the concept of amber box, right? So I hope the concept is clear. Now first read the PPT which I am sharing with you, then you discuss something if you have any doubt. Now please read this slide carefully, and I hope that with the discussion that I did, your concept will be clear. So is the concept clear, everyone? Any doubt till now?
सर जो इसमें अनफेयर लिमिटेशन थी अंबर बॉक्स में पीस क्लॉज से वो हट गई कि इसके ऊपर आप कोई एक्सटेंड वो नहीं लगा सकते, लिमिट नहीं लगा सकते कि पुअर पीपल को इससे हार्म पहुंचे या उनको फूड सप्लाई ना हो. ये
as per the peace clause, no member country would be legally barred from food security program. So हम कह रहे हैं कि ये हमारा फूड सिक्योरिटी प्रोग्राम है. मेन पर्पस इज टू प्रोवाइड फूड सिक्योरिटी टू द पीपल. द मेन पर्पस इज नॉट टू डिस्टोर्ट द ट्रेड, है ना? So no member country would be legally barred from food security program for its own people, even if the subsidy breaches the limit prescribed under the amber box, which is the 10% in case of India, है ना?
सर ये जो 10% लिमिट है ये सिर्फ इंडिया के लिए कि अकॉर्डिंग टू डिफरेंट कंट्रीज ये चेंज है?
We have already seen ना, this is for everyone. We have already seen ना, यहाँ पे है ना, ये लिखा हुआ है. Yes, for developing countries, this is 5%. For developing countries, this is 10%. Yes. So in case of India, this is, and this limit is also called as please notice this, aggregate measure of support. So you will come across this term AMS. You will come across this term AMS, aggregate measure of support. So this aggregate measure of support is the term which is used for this upper limit, right? So aggregate measure of support means the total support, the total subsidy cannot exceed this upper limit. So AMS, aggregate measure of support, this is the term which is used to define this upper limit, right? Aggregate measure of support, AMS. You will come across this term many times in the newspaper. Any person, yes, any doubt till now? Surajit, Manish, Venkatesh, any doubt as of now, so that we can move ahead?
No, sir. Okay.
Okay, wonderful. So these are very, very important concepts. whenever you read anything about WTO, you will come across all these points, right? Now